Coming into the season finale at Homestead-Miami in Florida, we have 4 drivers that are going to battle it out for the championship. James Davis comes in as our point leader. Despite not having a win, he has 6 top 5s, the season high for anyone in the HARC Pro Series, and 10 top 10s, and has just a single DNF. That kind of consistency has put him at the top of the standings entering this race. However, if he wants to guarantee the win for himself, he's gonna have to win, since finishing second to Spencer Fullerton would not give him the championship. Speaking of which, Spencer Fullerton is in second coming into this race. He is just 2 points behind James Davis, and he has gotten there with a win, 4 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Despite all of the top 10s, except for one, coming in the first 15 races of the season. Since then, he has had horrible luck, mechanical failures, and overall just bad days. However, he can turn that all around with a good finish here today, and he will capture the championship if he does that. Mitch McDonald comes into this race third in the points, 9 points back. He surprised everyone by qualifying second for his first ever race back in the season opener at Daytona, and actually winning, becoming just the 3rd driver in HARC Pro Series history to win in his first start. Since then, he has posted another 4 top 5s, and in total has 10 top 10s, just like James Davis and Spencer Fullerton. Although he may be overlooked by many of the fans coming into today, he definitely still has a shot at the title. In 4th, we have Robert Moss. He is undoubtedly the biggest long shot of this championship. He is 30 points behind. He needs to win today in order to even have a chance. Robert Moss has gotten to this point by winning at Grand Detour earlier in the year and posting 6 top 5s, matching James Davis, our current points leader's total. However, just 1 other top 10 and many other inconsistencies have put that team behind. Look for Robert Moss to be particularly aggressive in getting to the front, as he really has absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Without further ado, here's the race. Grabbing the pole for the season finale of the 2013 HARC Pro Series season would be points challenger Mitch McDonald, who's currently 3rd in points, as Nicholas DeFort has gotten off to literally an explosive start, as he's blown his motor just coming across the start-finish line to begin lap 1. Disappointing for that 55 team, and he's stacked up the field pretty massively. Starting in the back of the field, we have Spencer Fullerton in the 73 car. Coming out of turn 2, Pichu London gets into Kyle Planini, who turns James Bond. Spencer Fullerton makes a little bit of contact with Kyle Planini, but narrowly avoids the spinning James Bond. Great reflexes from Spencer Fullerton, who must be pretty tense in that 73 car right now. Under caution, as Mitch McDonald had the lead going to the caution, he is currently the leader, while Kyle Planini, Spencer Fullerton, and James Bond are all coming in to repair any damage that they may or may not have. Leading the field back to the green flag would be Mitch McDonald in the 24 car. Mitch is doing exactly what he needs to do to have the best chance possible at winning this title, as he has had a fantastic qualifying effort and is currently leading. Within a lap, Ken Isman would get to the inside of Mitch McDonald and try to get by for the lead. However, that outside line seems to be a great one for Mitch McDonald, and Mitch seems to be able to run whatever line he wants, as he now shoves Ken Isman off to the inside where there practically is no grip, and Mitch is going to hold on with the lead. At this point, Robert Moss, James Davis, and Spencer Fullerton are all outside of the top 20, so this is looking really good for Mitch McDonald, as these guys are going to have to really fight their way into the top 10 or possibly even the top 5 if Mitch remains where he is. Let's go on board with Shrimp Engrits through this tense 2 and 3 wide racing. Shrimp currently resides just outside the top 20 in the same pack with Robert Moss and James Davis. As he continues to have to hold his line, the outside seems to be one of the best, but if you have a good handling car and you're willing to use up some of your tires, the inside is the way to go. Meanwhile, back out front, Penn Isman and Richard Trelinsky have continued to try and battle with Mitch McDonald for the lead. However, until this point, Mitch McDonald has led every lap. However, there, Penn Isman just edged him out to lead a lap there. However, Mitch got a big run on the outside through turns 1 and 2, and Penn Isman had to back off. As you can see from this photography, everyone in the field is pretty much still within drafting distance of each other, as we have 3 and sometimes even 4 wide racing back here in this midfield pack, as James Davis and Robert Moss are trying to start to work their way forward. Back in the field, Ilya Bonarenko gets into Pichu London. However, Pichu London is luckily able to save that and keep that car on track. Pichu hardly even lost a few spots there, as Ilya Bonarenko is being really aggressive right now. Ilya has no chance at the championship, but he definitely wants it to add another win to his already win-filled career. Up front, the battling is even crazier, as Mitch McDonald has opened up a bit of a gap, as they are 4 wide for a couple of rows back behind him. Inevitably, Ilya Bonarenko would turn William Duncan down into the path of Nathan Gibson, and they would go for a bit of a spin. This would bring out our second caution. Under this caution, the entire field would come into the pits for what would be their first and only pit stops of the race. You may have seen a small gap there. That was just the cars trying to get themselves sorted out, as it looks like a few of the drivers had run into each other under caution. However, no one would really be terribly damaged by this. After a flawless pit stop, Mitch McDonald would still be the leader as he led the field back to the green flag. You know how I said that no drivers were damaged from contact under caution? Well, I lied. Alex Tanker had some serious damage and ended up having to remove the whole front bumper and hood of that car. Luckily, he would try to maintain the outside and try to let the other drivers go by, although they would still have a bit of trouble, as Alex Tanker seems to be actually maintaining relatively quick race speed. As Mitch McDonald continues to lead, we can see there is 4 wide racing just at the end of the top 10, as James Davis is at the tail end of that, as we have some trouble. Coming out of turn 2, Mason Wood would push Zachary Brown up the track into the path of Jacob Young and Leah Walker. Leah Walker and Jacob Young would each get slight damage, and Zachary Brown would continue sliding down into turn 3. Luckily, he was not hit by any other driver. Mitch McDonald would lead the field to the caution, as the drivers are starting to sort themselves out. Oh no! Mark Nutt turns James O'Shea up into the path of Stephen Henhock. Stephen Henhock is wrecked. Oh man! A huge crash under caution as Leah Walker, Kyle Planini, James Bond, Brock McMahon, Alex Tanker, Eric Cesar, Andreas Allen, and a few others were all collected in a huge calamity under caution. Let's go on board Dixie Normous's rear cam as she just narrowly escaped this nasty accident. Everyone behind Dixie Normous was collected, as Leah Walker had nowhere to go when Stephen Hennock spun out, and Leah Walker hit him, and Stephen speared down the track right in front of the rest of the cars, trying to slow down, and he was sent up the track into more cars where he ended up upside down. This isn't the first time Stephen Henlock's been upside down this season. Under this caution, James O'Shea, James Bond, and the other cars who were damaged came into repair and some retired. Those who retired were Kyle Planini, Eric Cesar, and Stephen Henlock. Once again, leading the field back to the green flag would be Mitch McDonald. We have about 40 laps to go as Mitch McDonald has led every single lap except for one that was led by Penn Isman. As you can see, as James Davis avoided the shenanigans, he is now up into 7th place. He is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's got to get up there as Richard Trelinsky becomes the 3rd driver to lead a lap, as he becomes the first driver to pretty much fully pass Mitch McDonald. As now Spencer Fullerton and Robert Moss have also made it up into the top 15 as Gary Tang damn near turned James Davis in the 72 off of turn 2. After a long fought battle with Mitch McDonald, Richard Trelinsky would end up leading a few laps, but in the end would have to relinquish it back to Mitch McDonald on the outside. Before long, the leaders would begin catching up to the lap traffic, and the first driver they would catch would be the very slow car of James O'Shea. Mitch McDonald would dispose of him relatively easily. Down the backstretch, a couple of laps later, Mark Nutt would get to the inside of Mitch McDonald, and with no help from Richard Trelinsky, Mark Nutt would be able to get by and be the first driver to make a complete pass on Mitch McDonald, as Mitch McDonald would not be able to hold on the outside. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, some of the drivers are having a lot of trouble negotiating James O'Shea, and Jacob Young, Connor Breton, and Eric Cesar and Zachary Brown would all get together, nearly causing an accident there as Zachary Brown was sent all over the place there, but luckily everyone would gather it back up. After the lap traffic problems, James Davis and Robert Moss are currently around 7th and 8th place, while Spencer Fullerton was delegated to around 21st position. Spencer's really got to get to the front in a pretty quick time span if he wants any chance at the championship. Meanwhile, back out front, Mitch McDonald has been trying to get by Mark Nutt on the inside for the last couple of laps, pretty unsuccessfully so far, but it looks like he has a good charge with some possible help from Ron Young. But Mark Nutt just has so much help on the outside from Richard Trelinsky, as it looks like Mark Nutt's going to hold on. As we approach more lap traffic, Mitch McDonald has been shuffled back to 5th, the farthest back he's been in this entire race. However, they are once again lapping James O'Shea, who is around 6 seconds slower a lap than anyone else on track. And because of that, Mark Nutt would get by, but Mitch McDonald would move back up into 3rd. As James Davis is up into 5th position. This is exactly what he needs to do. Meanwhile, running back in 15th, we have points contender Spencer Fullerton. Oh no, something's broken on that car. Spencer's going to try and get into the pit lane. Oh no, he's going too fast. He runs over one of the commitment cones and he's going to have to coast around at a measly 50 to 60 miles an hour. There goes any last chance at Spencer Fullerton getting the title. Battling for 14th, Dixie Normous would get a tap from Pichu London and was sent into the infield grass. However, Dixie Normous would remain composed and would continue on. Running around 26th, a few laps after Spencer Fullerton's engine blew, Zachary Brown's would, and he would leave a big trail of smoke. However, that would be entirely on the apron, and he would be able to coast around so the field would stay under green. Coming to 17 laps to go, Mitch McDonald's worked his way back up into 2nd, and off of turn 4, he would make a big charge on Mark Nutt in the 0 car, and with some help from the 77 of Shrimp Engrits, Mitch would get the lead. Mitch needs to do this in order to get his points in order to win the championship, as James Davis has worked his way up into just outside the top 5. So Mitch needs to finish in first or he may not win the title. After negotiating some more lap traffic, Mark Nutt would get to the inside of Mitch McDonald as Ben Dover's worked his way up into the top 3. And it looks like Mark Nutt's going to have the optimal racing line here. Never mind, Mitch forces him down low as they go through turn 2, and then Mitch is going to hold on to the lead. As they come up to put James O'Shea another lap down, Mark Nutt makes a very aggressive move on Mitch McDonald, and they split him 3 wide. Mitch McDonald is forced to slow down to avoid any contact, and Mark Nutt grabs the lead. However, just half a lap later, Mitch would get a big run with some help from Ron Young, and together they would go by Mark Nutt. Mark Nutt was having none of that though, as just a lap later, Mark Nutt would pull a crossover move on Mitch McDonald to retake the lead. Getting into turn 4 though, it looks like Mark Nutt's used up a lot of his tires doing that, and because of that, Ron Young got a run on the outside and was easily able to take the lead as Mitch McDonald's trying to get back into second, as they are 3 wide for 4th through 6th place. With 6 laps to go, James Davis is currently in 10th place. He's got to find a way to get up a few positions. However, the top 8 or so have driven away from Dixie, Normous, and himself, so it's not looking too good for James Davis's title hopes as Mitch McDonald continues to battle in the top 2. As they battled with lap traffic, Ron Young would start to drive away from Mitch McDonald as they approached yet more lap traffic, which Ron Young and Mitch McDonald would have no problem with since they are single file, but everyone else would have a bit of a problem. Coming to 2 laps to go, Ron Young and Mitch McDonald have started to drive away from Mark Nutt and Pichu London. However, James Davis has moved his way up into 8th place, so Mitch has got to maintain that position or else he may not win the championship. But James Davis really has to get that car motoring and get by a few more cars, because if Mitch does stay in that position, James Davis loses the championship. The white flag is out for Ron Young in the 64 car. The oldest driver in the field at 65 years of age is Ron Young. However, Mitch McDonald is trying to take that win away from him. He's going to have one more shot as they come through turn 4. Mitch McDonald giving it everything he has as he comes out of turn 4. It's going to be a drag race down to the line, but Ron Young's going to get him by just 0.06 of a second at the line as Ron Young gets his first career victory. Mitch McDonald finishes second, more on the points standings later. Mark Nutt finishes third in the 0 car, a nice run to finish off the season with for him. Pichu London finishes 4th in the 31 car, and Ilya Bondarenko, despite his aggressive driving nature today, managed to work his way up from the back to 5th place. As far as the points, Robert Moss would finish 14th. That was not even close to good enough. He needed to win in order to even have a shot at this thing. Spencer Fullerton finished 7 laps down the last car on track due to his little mechanical problem. And James Davis finished 8th, and he will lose the championship by just 3 points to Mitch McDonald. Mitch McDonald is your 2013 HARC Pro Series champion. He is a rookie. He won his first career race, and now he celebrates with burnouts down at the start-finish line today. Mitch McDonald had a fantastic day today, a virtually perfect one in fact. Qualified first, his pit stop was absolutely perfect, getting him out first. He led almost every lap of the day, came up just a bit short in 2nd place, but that's going to be enough to give him the title. I hope you've enjoyed the season. Thanks for watching, and registration for 2014 will come soon.